Hello, I am Donna Avatar, and today I bring to you a story that is not only interesting but should be considered important to you. It is a long-awaited answer to a commonly asked question, and that question being, was Steve Jobs the inventor of the iPhone? We can bring you the answer to that question because the owner of our sponsor, Mr. Nicholas Leach of AI Digital Marketing Promotions and Solutions, was not only there at the conception of the iPhone creation, he was the one of the two people who ideas was used by Apple to create the iPhone. Mr. Ross's invention was used by Apple in the look of the phone, and Mr. Leach's idea was the function and name of the device. Mr. Leach became more and more aggravated at the thought of Apple and Steve Jobs taking all of the credit to themselves, but more importantly cheating the people and future generations of the correct historical record, since the iPhone has become to change the lives of people and has its place in history. Here is the true story. In December of the year 2006, Mr. Leach was an over-the-road truck driver who was frustrated with the Qualcomm unit he was given to use by the company Covenant Transport, who is located in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and though it could use an upgrade. The night when he was on his laptop, he contemplated what a nice feature it would be to have a touch screen on his Qualcomm unit and to be able to watch videos on it. Then, when using his phone, he noticed that the phones are becoming smaller and smaller, and even to use the phone keyboard you need to have a plastic pen. What a nice feature it would be to have a virtual keyboard you can pop up on the screen and to have it wireless like his laptop. He thought that if he could find a company to make these things for him, he would be able to sell them to everyone. So he came up with an idea to call a company he did deliveries for, Dell Computer Company. He called Dell Computer Company, and they told him they do not accept ideas from the public. He then called several other computer manufacturing companies, and they either did not answer the phone or they did not want to make any device for the public, until he called Apple. When he called Apple, they said that he would have to go through one of their consultants, and they took down Mr. Leach's phone number. Then, in a short time, a consultant called him back. During the conversation, Mr. Leach told the consultant that he was interested in a device to replace the Qualcomm unit in his truck, and if Apple could manufacture these units, every truck driver in the world would buy one. And if they could manufacture this idea into a mobile phone, everyone would buy one. Then the consultant said the idea for the phone sounds like something they thought of in the past, but they decided it would not be a good idea because the screens would break. And Mr. Leach explained that a film could be put over the screen to prevent people cutting themselves. People will buy it anyways. As the phones were being sold, money could be set aside for research and development, and a better screen can be invented by people using it. This resolves the small formality about the screen breaking. The consultant what would be a good idea in naming the phone, and Mr. Leach asked what other products Apple has, and the consultant had the name I in many products. Then Mr. Leach suggested in naming it the iPhone. Mr. Leach then said that Apple could have that phone idea for free on the condition that Apple would manufacture the computer idea to replace the Qualcomm units in commercial trucks, and the consultant said they will do that so long as a large trucking company could sponsor it. Mr. Leach knew that Covenant Transport, the company he works for, will do it, so he agreed. Several days later, Mr. Leach was at the corporate terminal of his employer, and he raced to his boss to bring him the good news. And the boss looked bewildered. The boss said that for Mr. Leach to follow him upstairs, so they went into the elevator up to the top floor where nobody other than the top executives are allowed to go, and the boss wondered about the timing of this idea. The boss showed him that they are secretly sponsoring a Qualcomm replacement unit for Qualcomm, and he showed Mr. Leach the devices. Mr. Leach pointed out that the devices they were working on were way less superior to his idea, and the boss agreed. However, he said that they already had a binding contract with Qualcomm. So Mr. Leach was not able to find a sponsor for his idea. However, Apple and he agreed that Apple could have the iPhone idea for free only on the condition that he could find a sponsor for the Qualcomm replacement units. Mr. Leach the contacted both by phone and in writing, but Steve Jobs refused to compensate or give any credit to Mr. Leach for his historical achievement and literally took all the credit for his greedy little self. Before Mr. Leach contacted Apple, that company wasn't even on the map. In fact, Mr. Leach never heard about Steve Jobs. But after hearing Mr. Jobs in an interview later on about the iPhone before he died of cancer, he knew after hearing his voice that the person who was supposed to be merely a consultant was none other than Steve Jobs himself. So not only did Steve Jobs cheat Mr. Leach and of course Mr. Ross out of their credit, let alone a reasonable share of the profits from the idea, he also cheated the billions of people in the entire world and those who will be here in the future of their historical record. Although Mr. Leach and Mr. Ross will probably never receive any royalties from their achievements arising from the invention of the iPhone, be damned if they are going to be cheated from the credit of it, and be damned if the people of the world be cheated from their historical record. We thank you for watching this news broadcast, and until next time, have a good night.